Rockin' Larry Locken, Pleiadian Express Productions here with Pleiadian Late Night Talk, and of course, my co-host, my other half of the Can-Am West Coast connection here, Raquel Toombs, 9 hours up the coast from me in suburban Vancouver, British Columbia. We're going to talk a little bit tonight about a wide range of issues. And Raquel and I had a really good pre-show, and I was like, wow, it was just so much and so much great information that I was taking in. I'm like, okay, we're going to go on, and I'm just going to say, so Raquel, what's going on? So I'm going to say, so Raquel, what is going on? What is going on in the wide spectrum that is, wide world that is Raquel Toombs' depth perception and awareness?
Sorry. Lots going on. As there always is. These are pretty awesome times, but not always easy times. We're all feeling something. The Earth is shifting. We're rising higher, ascending, and things just seem to be speeding up. Time would be one of the things that seem to be speeding up, but the physical is speeding up. A whole lot of stuff individually and collectively is being lifted and cleared. I'm smiling a lot the past couple days. It's been you can just feel it. You can feel that. You feel that lightness. That's I'm smiling even as I speak. You
Yeah,
can feel.
are you sure it's not all just a big hoax created by somebody from a third world country? No, I totally agree. And doesn't it seem to be just, it's really accelerating and matriculating. It's like, okay, I mean, they're really, time is like, okay, we talk about time going away. It really feels like it's gone away literally in the last couple of days. I felt like there was some clearing a few days before that, but I just, it's just amazing. I feel like, I don't know, I feel like we're at this point where we're ready to hit this wall and just jump into another space-time continuum, or head off into another dimension. It's really hard for me to put into words without going all over the place. So I'm gonna let your composed, articulate self talk about that a little bit.
Well, I think that we are jumping off. We're jumping constantly in and out of different dimensions. When as far as time speeding up, some people might say, oh well, yeah, of course the days get by. They go by as you get older. The days go by faster, and or time flies when you're having fun. It's like, no, it's not about getting older, and it's not just about fun, because so many people are noticing it regardless.
Totally my pet peeve. I hate to interrupt you. Then my
Yes,
pet peeve, exactly. Yeah.
regardless of their age, regardless of whether they're at work or they're having a miserable time or they're having a good time. It truly is speeding up, and I find that in my perception of that is when you're embodying your higher self, and when you're connecting, you're completely connected with your higher self. We all know that time's an illusion. Our little 3D us's down here, some still operate on the illusion of time because it's still necessary. A lot of people, have work and appointments to go to, and so we need time down here, kind of, as a marker. Otherwise, we'd never get anything done. But when you're connecting with your higher self, whether you're meditating or creating or out in nature or writing or whatever you're doing, you're embodying your higher self. So higher self is outside of time, and that's why quite often we may maybe lose some time. Maybe we just okay, I'm just going to quick send a quick message on Facebook, or just go and or just do whatever, go for a quick 10-minute walk, and then all of a sudden it's like, whoa, where did how is it, like, it was just 3 o'clock and how is it 11 at night already? I don't understand. Right? And that's usually, because you are connected to your higher self. Therefore, you're existing in a place that's outside of time, and then then you kind of reconnect back to 3D kind of self, and then then you realize, okay, it's dark out, but it wasn't like 5 minutes ago, I swear, right? Like it was just morning.
Yeah, like these little, I mean, I've been having a couple of these little 15, 20 minute, maybe a 30-minute time lapse, like you're saying, not hours, like enough to really dwell on. But yeah, I mean, it totally, like, it's noticeable. It's not, one you can just kind of say whatever, but it's really just happening. And then the rest of the time, it's like we really are literally like, okay, well, like we're in no time,
Hmm. Well,
so it's.
my mom always says, Jesus Christ, it's always nighttime. I'm like, that's the way she describes it. She's like, and I mean, it's always nighttime. Like, you mean it's nighttime again? Like, so basically, I wake up, she wakes up in the morning, and bang, it's like always nighttime. That's just the way, that's the way she's funny the way she
Right,
puts things.
you don't live that far up the Arctic Circle.
No. Oh, and let me mention this quickly. This is so awesome. When we awaken, and when we embody our truths, and it may be hard for our families seeing us go through the weird physical shit, or some of the things that we see and that we talk about. It's hard not to talk about it, but our families don't always want to hear about it. I remember I was outside once, and I was talking to my mom, and she's like, Raquel, there's more to life than the dissension. She goes, it's not all about the dissension. I'm like, no, Mom, that's ascension. We've already descended. Now we're ascending. But it really does. Even if you're just kind of subtle about it, which subtlety has never been my forte. I'm always in your face about everything. But my mom came in the other.
Raquel, real quick, it reminds me of this song lyric. There's a new kid in town. I don't want to hear it. Yeah, but yeah, totally.
My mom came in the other day from outside, and she very seriously looks at me. She goes, so, when you sun gaze, do you do it with your eyes open or closed? And I said, well, I do, like, it's a different way of using my eyes. I kind of squint or whatever. And she goes, oh. And I said, why? She goes, oh, because me, I do it with my eyes closed. And when I do, and she goes, the colors I see are just phenomenal, right? And it was like, yes, Mom, right? Like, just get so excited for, just that she's always been very connected and very in tuned and very with energy and just spiritual, but just knowing. And I know that, like, she watches the news, but she doesn't watch TV as much. But if I even mention anything about, like, the elections in the States, or how it's all, it's all ruled by a dark shadow government, and it doesn't matter who you vote for, or, even chemtrails, she gets angry, the walls go up, and it's just kind of like, but at least she might be getting angry, but at least she's absorbing some of it as she can, right?
You know what? Yeah, just tell her, Mom, I love you, and all. It's just a comedy show from another planet you're watching. All this, because I basically gotten to that point where I look at it that way. But you have the anger built in, and then it is just an. She's getting there. I mean, you know what I mean? It takes a long time for people to break down that wall because then after that, I mean, then you have to realize everything it was a complete illusion. When the veil
and I mean,
on all that.
That in itself is like, wow, like, how strong are we to come here and to be conditioned and programmed and inundated and have all these borrowed beliefs. And then, for some people, it's like slowly and gently things, reveal, they shed the layers and things reveal. And
Wow. Okay, Raquel, we've lost Raquel Toombs here for a second, but yeah, and I think what she was talking about, that paradigm breaking down, it may not be such a big deal for those of us who've been awakened for so long and, star seeds and whatnot, but it really is, put yourself in the position of these, Raquel,
yeah, that's really weird. It just said you ended the call, but I didn't touch anything. It just automatically ended.
Yeah, that's weird. I was just kind of like expanding on your point a little bit about how, we need to understand and put ourselves in the position of those people that the paradigm breaking down for them. It's a big deal, and it's kind of a tough thing to realize that it's You know, I mean, really, when you know, we can all joke about it, no, but then when you really know it, it's like, wow, you know, well, not for me, it never was, but I mean, you know, or you, but some people.
But yeah, it can be yeah, it definitely, well, it's scary. It can be really cause a lot of fear and a lot of anxiety and a lot of you know, like, I mean, it's everything when we're ready, right? Like, um
Well, yeah, and I think too, like us, I can sit there and say, like, you know, I never thought that way, what I didn't, but I'm like excited about it. You know, for people like us, it's excited that we're excited it's actually here, and it feels
mhm,
great. Versus that, you know, that fear part about it,
mhm.
because they, you know, those things were never, you know, really thought about by them. So, you know, it's you got to really put yourself in, you know, how other people feel and look where they're coming from.
Oh yeah, yeah, and that's something that we were talking about on the phone. I had encountered a person that was a little bit angry at me, and it was about, you know, something just simple, and it was about basically just, you know, approaching and it's just everyone that you encounter, just, you know, show them love and unconditional acceptance, right? Unconditional love and acceptance, no matter where they are on their path. You're not being, you know, you can't control anyone's behavior, and nor would you want to, right? But I think we just kind of, you get to a point where you understand why people act the way they do, and you empathize with them, and you understand that they're, you know, they're going through their own stuff. So the best thing we can do is not to give advice, not to here, well, here, just, you know, I can do this for you, or I'll tell you how to do it. The best thing we can do is just to accept people and love people. You know, I love them and accept them exactly for who they are and where they are right now, with that understanding and knowing where they are, and you know, and then just and just be there, just, you know, just be there. That's all. That's what they need. I think, like, I think the most important thing is to just be there, so that people know they're not alone. People don't always need advice. People don't always need to be, you know, shown or told what to do. If anything, I think that telling other people what to do is kind of like, who are you to tell other people what to do, for one thing?
I would have, Raquel,
Yeah,
you should have.
yeah.
Well,
But
I would
another, like, I'm a firm believer in everyone figuring shit out for themselves, right?
have. Amen, amen to that.
Yeah, because that's been my process. I've just you know, I still have. I mean, I don't have everything figured out. Who does, right? You know, there's still a lot of things that are being revealed. Still a lot of things that I'm remembering and really working on. But you know, the way that my situation, my process, my journey has gone and continues to go is not it's not like everybody else's, and everybody else has, you know, everybody has their own story and their own journey, but mine has been really extreme and really rapid, and I just knew not to go outside myself too much, and because of that, I didn't have all this accumulated crap that I have to shed now. Like, you know, you awaken. Some people awaken. They dive into you know, research, or, you know, they go to gurus or spiritual healers, or, I mean, healing is good. Getting healing from other people, exchanging energy and healing. I'm real big on that. But when it comes to people, you know, saying they'll do things for you, they'll activate your DNA, they'll remove implants, they'll, well, you know what? You know, our DNA is evolving, and it's all built in, and it's all, you know, the amount of light that.
And you know what, Raquel, too? Our great colleague Bridget Rouse said it about the word guru. What is it spelled? Guru. You don't need, you know, you don't need anybody else to tell you, you know, what you should have done or what you could have done, or, you
Yeah.
know, gee, you are you. You are your own guru. But yeah,
Yeah.
I thought I'd add that in and give her a little
Yeah,
plug.
that's really cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's you know, and like we were talking too, like, you know, my transformation has been pretty extreme and pretty rapid, and it hasn't been something that I've had to like say, okay, I'm going to set a goal to do this and this is going to happen, or I'm going to, it hasn't been like that. It's been very like, you know, natural, well, unnatural, but so natural. Like, I guess this is natural now because Ascension, Ariel, it is, you still there?
Oh yeah,
Oh, sorry,
definitely.
Ariel stepped on my computer. Ascension is built in, and the way I kind of think about it is when you know we were babies and we were born, and then we were these tiny, tiny little things, and then never like no. Now I'm not talking about the conditioning and all the crap that was put, you know, programming. I'm talking about
Hmm.
physical changes, right? So we start
Right.
out as these tiny babies, and our bodies, oh my God, they change and they grow, and our bodies are brilliant. Everything's built in. Our cells are brilliant. They know what to do. Um, so with the ascension process, and especially the physical part of the process, you're going to experience a lot of weird shit. Like, you're going to be very, very super conscious of your body. You're going to be super conscious of everything that's going on in your body. You're going to be hyper aware of every muscle and every, you know, like just everything. And so you're going to feel a lot of discomfort and weird shit happening. Um, but you just got to remember, you know, as a kid, you went through growing pains. Your body totally, it
Oh God,
changed and it
ouch.
grew, and you didn't need anyone to tell you how to do that. You didn't need instructions on how to do that because it was a natural thing, right?
You know, I forgot about how bad they hurt till you just mentioned them there then, and I haven't had them in probably, well, 25 years. But man, I had them bad because I was tall. I had them
Mhm.
really bad, and yeah, of course, I don't know how I dealt with it. I did.
Well, I've been feeling it for the past 2 years, and it's still going on.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's just kind of, and it can get pretty overwhelming. It can get overwhelming, but then if, you know, I find myself sometimes calling up Janice or Evie, and I'll kind of bitch a little bit, like, or even Sif, like, I can't do this, like, I just can't, you know, and it's so nice to have them there that I can turn to. But then, you know, they're so supportive. But as soon as I start whining or bitching about it, you know, I'll just be like, what the hell? Like, seriously? Seriously, you're gonna whine and bitch about this? You know, everything about this is so positive. I mean, we're getting like super strong, super resilient, super, you know, more energy, more vitality. Way like better ability to you know, rid ourselves of toxins, where our bodies, our vehicles are operating at a better, you know, if way more efficiently now.
We're really conditioning ourselves to deal with the high amount of higher dimensional frequency that we're encountering now, through the solar system that the planet's going through, that we're astrally going through. It's just, yeah, exactly. It's like all these things are a test to build our bodies up into
Hmm.
these
Hmm.
super conscious machines to be able to handle all this energy, because I mean, to be able to handle that kind of loving, pure source energy, you have to have those toxins, the majority of them ridden. I mean, from your body. I mean, certainly
Yeah.
the more that you do out of your body, the more it helps.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Excuse me. um, I got nothing.
Yeah, well, it kind of ties into too how we were talking about the crystals, and you were mentioning, looking at the crystal prisms through the sun, and I was thinking about, that they're really an alive being. Like plasma beings, I really feel like come from crystals. I mean, this is a pure consciousness being, that basically I think has mastered a lot of things.
Well, yeah, the crystals. I mean, I don't know anybody in this, you know, going through this process that hasn't really connected with crystals yet. I mean, I've always loved crystals, but
Me too, but then yeah, now it's like
now,
really, yeah.
yes, now I have a really deep connection with them. My mom and Jevin are always bitching, like, "What, you bought another crystal?" You know, kind of giving me shit, right? Um, but you know, I recently bought a crystal deodorant, and they didn't mind that at all. But anyway, yeah, the crystals are. they're live. They're live, and they're here to assist us. They're here. Each one has a different vibration, and they will naturally tune to our vibration as well. And I don't really want to just ramble on about crystals, but I do want to tell you what I have been guided to do lately is I went to my metaphysical store. I knew that I had to go there. I didn't know what I was getting, but I knew there was something there. And I walked in, and within like less than 2 minutes, I was just guided to walk to this display cabinet, and they had these clear channel quartz, and I just knew I had to get one, so I brought it home, and I went over to Janice's the next day, and she did a body talk for me, and I was holding it while she was doing the body talk, and just in her house, just with the living room light on, I could see it turning like purple and blue and green and yellow and orange and red, and I'm like, holy shit, those are chakra colors. That's pretty awesome. And it was quite, well, it wasn't totally bright, but I mean, I could see it changing color. And this isn't the type of crystal that's a cut crystal for a sun catcher that that it's very obvious to the eye. This is just a clear quartz, very clear quartz. And then a couple days later, I'm outside in the sun, and I was just looking at it in the sun, like kind of gazing into it. Obviously, not blinding my, like if you do that, you'd want to, look at it in a crystal, gaze into a crystal in natural sunlight, but not to the point where the sun is reflecting right on your eyeball, right? You don't want to hurt your eyes. So I'm looking at it, I'm gazing into it, just the same way I would sun gaze, right, into the crystal. And oh my God, I started crying. It was so beautiful because it was like I had a lightsaber in my hand, and it was the same thing at Janice's house, except it was like 100 times bigger and more vibrant, and it was just shooting blue and turning like just blue and green and purple and red. And I'm like, whoa, it was amazing. And then I was like, tears in my eyes. My neighbors probably think I'm a weirdo. Well, I know they do.
Man, it sounds gorgeous. It sounds gorgeous, absolutely.
Yeah. And then I looked down at the ground, and we have this black area rug outside because we have these really sharp rocks that used to cut the crap out of my feet. So we got this really thick rubber-backed area rug, and it's black, so you can imagine it attracts blades of grass when the lawn's cut and little tiny twigs and stuff. So for some reason I looked down, and everything, like, it just looked weird, so I picked up like this blade of grass, and it's in my hand, and I'm looking at it, and I could see the blade of grass, but also I could see like the physical blade of grass, but then I could also see an energetic blade of grass, like right connected to it. So I took my fingernail, and I'm like trying to pry them apart, but there's only one in this dimension, which is a physical blade of grass in this dimension. Then there's the energetic, and it's different than an aura, and it's not double vision or anything because it's total complete clarity.
I was just gonna say, was it like an aura? But that I was thinking, no, it didn't sound like an aura. So you read my mind. Go on.
Yeah, it's very similar to an aura. Like it's similar until you realize that, whoa, wait a minute, like that's a complete duplicate of the piece of grass in the in the energetic, right? So I think an aura is just basically around, like I know I see.
Yeah, an aura is just kind of flat one color, basically, and it's around it like that. But this was like a total separate, parallel, higher kind of.
Yes, and then, but then the way I see my hands and feet is I'll see the energy coming out of that too. It's like a flickering, but I'll see like the tips of my fingers and the tips of my toes and my feet coming out of themselves. So that's kind of more similar to an aura. And same with Ariel. I'll look at her, and I can see her energy body above her. And I think it's I think it's gradual. I think with the blade of grass, it's because it's small and because I can handle it right now. Now, I'd probably just shit if all of a sudden I was out there and then I saw two of Ariel, like complete in detail like the grass, or two of my hands in detail like the grass. But I have a feeling that that's probably what it's working up to, right?
Well, sometimes some of these Merkaba ships in the sky, they'll like divide into four and come back together. Imagine having the consciousness to split like that, or to see that. I mean, that came to my mind right there to say that. I mean.
Well, like with me, even like seeing my, it's my process. It's been, it's been a bit gradual. But just like the video I recorded with the purple, well, that's how it's exactly how I see my energy shooting from my hands and my feet. So now my vision, as far as being able to see different lights, it's like totally using a different way of seeing to see each different thing. So to see, you know, the aura or the double or the flickering out of it's all a different. I kind of want to say like muscle that you use, or it's all a different way of seeing, but I'm seeing it all. And the first time I saw my hand completely turn into light, I was outside in the carport, and I freaked. I was like, oh my God. And Mom's like, what's wrong? I said, what if I just cease to exist here? She goes, oh, for Christ's sakes, you're not just going to cease to exist here. I was like, okay, thanks, Mom. And then after that, I just kind of got used to it. I just got used to it. So now the vision is going to like a whole other level. It's crazy. And I want to add, actually, I went recently and got my eyes. Jevin stepped on my glasses, and I used my glasses just for reading or, you know, to be on the computer, whatever. So I went to the eye doctor, and I was past due for an appointment. You know how I don't like doctors, but I figured, okay, eye doctor, no big deal. And then I thought, you know what? She's going to ask me about my vision changes, so I'm just going to be honest and tell her. So I told her about how
they might have thought you were going to have a brain aneurysm or something.
No, actually. I told her about seeing light in a whole new way. I didn't tell her about the energy that I see myself turn into light. I didn't tell her that part, but I told her how I see car headlights, and how I see stoplights at night. They're like laser beams that come out. How I see the sun, like through the trees, there's like millions of individual strands or rays of light. So I told her all that, and but we also talked about, you know, my awakening. And Liv just touched on my awakening. And, you know, my consciousness, how my consciousness is expanded, and how my, you know, even my body is healed and continually, you know, healing or whatever. And so I said to her, you know, I believe that this is the way that we were meant to see. I believe this is the way children see, because I remember seeing colors when I was a kid, and then I lost that for a long time. And when she actually said to me, she goes, you know, I've always wondered that and kind of thought that myself. So she was really quite awesome about it. I was pleasantly surprised that she was quite understanding, and she knew about spiritual awakening. So she wasn't thinking, oh my God, she's crazy. Maybe she did after I left. I don't know, but she was actually quite nice about it. Yeah.
You mean, you know, the LSD didn't help you as a teenager to regain those colors? No, I'm kidding. I was thinking that when you said that, but I feel the same way. It's like the perception of colors when I was younger, it seemed like they were more brighter, vivid, maybe even a tad more translucent, and then I kind of lost that as like maybe got into the programming of, you know, whatever was around me.
TVs and microwave dinners.
Yes, and well, yeah, you know, in those days, yeah, and exactly, growing up in those times, and you know, and of course the programming that's always been there with the school, and just you know, the things that you see around you, it kind of sucks that creativity vibe out of you to. Yeah.
And also, I mean, I remember I would see auras. I would see auras around people, and so if someone, it would be their color, the color of their energy that would tell me whether I should stay away from them or not. And I remember as a kid, I don't have a lot of memories, but I remember as a kid referring to, you know, say Dad brought a colleague home from work or whatever, you know, that blue guy or that green guy or that whatever, right? And so basically, you know, it's fear, and it's you know, our parents or your caregivers or whatever, you know, when kids tell them what they're seeing, it's like, oh, stop that, that's enough of this bullshit, that's not what you see, just, you know. So yeah, so of course it's going to get conditioned out of you, right? So now the kids, the children, you know, being born these days, nowadays, and not just the children, all the souls, even, you know, the animals, they really, yeah, we need to keep them awake. You know, they really need a lot of encouragement, and to really, you know, listen to them. And the fact that we're now, you know, expanding our consciousness really helps, because now we're not going to just, you know, discount. We've broken a lot of the patterns, and, you know, we've broken a lot of that as far as we've healed a lot of our family stuff as well. So now, yeah, encouraging and supporting the children now because they're so and the animals, yes, Ariel, you too, because they're so advanced. They're here with everything intact, right? So we cannot no
It's
indoctrination like
right,
just
and it's not like okay, it's not like just in any other generation. Of course, you would say yes, we've got to teach the children well and be there for them. Yeah, 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 no shit, yada yada yada. We know all that, but it's especially important with these kids that were born, from say the early '90s, up until and the ones being born now, the 25 and under that are really born with all their chakras open. And I've always said that, and I really do believe they're like they see things
Mhm.
all at once. They don't see things in a left right perception type of a thought,
Mhm.
and they're really like hybrids in the way that I see them as being both mentally gifted and physically gifted too. I mean,
Yeah,
they're both athletic, they're jocks and geeks or whatever, they're brains and athletes. They're both.
yeah.
They're not really divided by that parallel anymore, and yeah, plus they have no judgment. But it's important to do what we can to be there for them. You know what I mean? I mean, anything we can do to help them is just going to benefit us in the long run by far.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, and also, not discounting anybody's what they're experiencing, right? Like I know, like I said in the past, me as a child, like I was seeing all these things and I was very connected. And I saw my dad's mom when she passed away after her funeral. She was in a white dress and she walked down the hall. And my first thought is, wait a minute, they just put her into the ground. How come she's not dirty, right? And boy, did I get in trouble for that one. But I mean, I was very connected, and it's just kind of like, you don't want to discount, like, I mean, Jevin's older now, but when he was younger, I didn't discount anything or tell him that, if he told me what he was experiencing, I just, okay, I listened to him and acknowledged that. And if he needed help with it, fine. Most often it was just he just wanted to express what he was,
Mhm.
feeling or experiencing. And really that's what's the most important thing to do with everybody, right? Is just kind of so we're all at different levels, and although some things may seem very, very bizarre to you, or that someone's experiencing, it doesn't mean that they're not experiencing it. So it's just important not to discount, or discourage anybody along their path, right?
Exactly. Kudos to really not to generalize, but kind of our generation, that Blu-ray generation between like our kids' generation and that the baby boomer generation before, because we're more like and in tune with our kids. I'm not saying that doesn't mean that we're better parents, but a million mistakes, but we're more of like what you said. We're more, I think, of in that supportive role, and we can relate to them more on a solar etheric level. If that does that sound fancy enough, but I mean, we get it more now. Hear me out. That doesn't make us better parents, like in this 3D realm, but we're more in tune with our kids just by the process of this thing than any other generation has been.
Mm-hmm.
Overall, and it's
And we're also getting younger too. Like I know with me, like with Jevin and his
yeah,
friends, like all the same music I'm into pretty well. All the, like, I mean, there's really no, it's about energy, and it's about where the consciousness is. Like I can sit down and have an awesome conversation with Jevin or one of his friends or a younger person that that are just, it's the energy and the knowledge and the consciousness of that person, right? So I think, in the past, it's kind of like there was a big like parents didn't really talk to their kids about a lot of things, or really
no,
talk to their kids'
they really
friends, or
yeah, I mean, I feel like right out of the chute, we were only at worst maybe 15 years, difference between our kids, but that gap is closed. Like we're getting younger, they're getting a little more mature, or we're staying the same and they're catching us. But yeah, it really, exactly. I mean, our bodies don't always feel it, although they're starting to feel better, but we really are looking younger. I mean, it sounds weird, it's not quite at the cocoon stage yet, like the movie Cocoon, but it's getting close though. I mean, it's You know, I mean, if it keeps going in that direction, eventually that's where it would get, and sooner rather than later if it picked up.
Yeah, hopefully we won't all just hopefully it's not like a Benjamin Button, but in real life.
Ah, yeah, wow, yeah, yeah. I can't stand watching any TV really or movies, but that was one of the last ones I watched years ago. And yeah, it's kind of, yeah, hopefully
Actually,
not.
I didn't watch it. I didn't watch it, but I just kind of know a little bit of the story.
Yeah,
Actually, you know,
you know,
it's fun. It's funny. I saw a picture of Billy Corrigan come up on my timeline, and I'm like,
mm-hmm.
"Who the fuck is that old man?" And I'm like,
Smashing Pumpkins.
and I'm like, "Oh, wait a minute! Like, how did this happen?" I don't know. Maybe I look that old to other people,
Well, yeah,
but
and he
I
really,
just,
he's from our generation. That's, they got big during kind of our, our stereotypical generation. Yeah, and you look at somebody like him, and exactly, and the other day I saw a post from a movie in 1995, it was called Friday. I looked at Chris Rock and Ice Cube, and I'm like, damn. God, they've gotten old. Have I gotten that old? Well, I was
I
about to say they
know.
were. Yeah, same thing with the Billy Corrigan thing. I saw him
I
recently
know.
too, and it's like, wow.
Yeah, I'm like, what happened? Like, what the? Yeah. So,
Well, for him, 1979 came and it went. That's a song reference if anybody didn't
yeah.
put that out there. But yeah, it's just, you look back on it and it's like, it just seems like, and like I wanted to just something you said earlier about, and I said it was one of my pet peeves. This is a situation where it's quickening and quickening and quickening. It's not just a matter of, oh gosh, well, gee, Earl, this year's sure gone by quick, or gosh, when you get older, time goes by faster. All those things are true. Yes, they are true, and I can totally feel those. But this is like, and I tell people that this is different. This is time is accelerating. I mean,
Yeah.
uh, a minute is only 2/3 as long in the time we experience it as it was just even a decade ago. I mean, all this shit like hit right away, and I mean, it's the reality of it. Science will even confirm that we're at about 45 seconds.
Well,
You know,
and also the fact that time is an illusion anyway, right? So we're seeing beyond the illusions, and we're experiencing things beyond the reality is an illusion as well, right?
well,
What is reality? So,
and you take a look at how quick we're going through this, right? And the planet ascending and going into these higher frequencies. Yeah, no, I mean, time being an illusion has got to be an understatement, if anything. I mean,
yeah.
it's just totally the idea just blasted away,
Mhm.
another dimension or two higher, and it probably isn't even something that would enter your consciousness. You know what I mean? Or at least in the way we think of it.
But it kind of it makes sense though, because we're freeing ourselves, and all these illusions, all this stuff that we thought was real is we're finding out it was just all not real. And so it just makes sense, or does it, or maybe it doesn't, or
Well,
it
no,
does.
and like people like us have kind of always known it, but I'm really getting full of the feeling like I can, have the news on for a second instead of just getting pissed off and, oh, that's just lame and totally. It's like it's so an illusion that I swear, to me, I'm convinced I'm watching something from a lower vibrating planet somewhere
Mm,
else, or
mm,
it's just this big staged bitching back and
mm.
forth, and I mean, I could totally rip it apart for hours, but we don't need to go there, you
Oh,
know.
speaking of time, have you been experiencing? Okay, not too long ago, Trudeau, there was
hmm
this big, and I said to Jevin, and Jevin even knew, oh, it's a distraction. What are they distracting us from? Apparently, he roughhoused someone or elbowed someone, and it was like this big uproar in the House of Commons, and it was just this. Is that what it's called, the House of Commons?
I think that's what you guys call it up there. That I probably
Yeah.
the
Okay.
American that would know that, but
Okay.
yeah, yes.
Anyway, and there was this big, this big uproar, and everyone was talking about it, and it was kind of like, but I, I knew it already happened. I said to Jevin, yeah, that already happened. He goes, no, it just happened. I'm like, no, believe me, it already happened. I'm experiencing that quite a bit with a lot of things. And something will
hmm
happen, and I'll hear about it, and it's like, yeah, but I know that because it already happened. And then my mom, she the other day she gets up to go and to answer the phone, and she the phone wasn't even ringing until she walked up to it, almost
Hmm.
put her hand on it, and then it started ringing.
Yeah,
Um,
that stuff's going on, you know. It really
yeah.
is. It is, and you know, I had talked about on another show recently. We touched a little bit on this thing called the Mandela effect, where don't really want to get into that, but it's
No.
kind of like that. It's okay, but part of that is all these, you know, dimensions and timelines are coming together, and
Hmm.
it's all, you know, it's all part of what's going on. And I think instead of looking at it in a doom and gloom conspiracy way, well, in fact, I know for me, I mean, it's a good thing. You know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah.
It's, you
Yeah.
know, it's definitely a good thing. There's no reason to get extremely paranoid and, you know, and really just take it all in, be aware, and, you know, have a good laugh with it and ride it out and, you know, just watch it all. It's quickening and just
Unfold.
really, exactly. Just watch it
Yeah.
all unfold. You know,
Uh-huh.
it's and I wanted to mention too, you know, when we were talking on the phone earlier, I had said, well, you know, listen, I've got to tell you, you know, something really quick that I kind of experienced. So last night, so I was just messing around on YouTube, looking around a little bit at, and I'm thinking to myself, geez, I'm looking at all these people that you know, well, some that slam Trump, but mainly that fucking are just. Oh, I mean, it's so fucking onslaughting on Hillary Clinton that you wouldn't, you know, a logical person wouldn't think Adolf Hitler deserved that much fucking. I mean, these people, you know. And then I got to thinking, you know what? Then I stopped for a second. You know what? And it's like, okay, why do I need to get myself worked up into that emotion? Okay, I know that I got the truth on my side, so it's not like, okay, I have to worry about losing an argument. And then I thought to myself, and really, would I want to hurt somebody's feelings like that and have to be a dick to them and point everything out to them like I've normally done my whole life when I thought I was just trying to show somebody the right way, but instead tried to run over them with my intellect? And I'm like, you
Hmm.
know, I don't need to do that. And I felt, you know, Raquel actually felt what that person would feel like if I got them so flustered they didn't have anything left, you know, to say. Whereas in the past, they'd be like, you know, whatever. But I felt for them, you know, I actually felt, you know, I was full of that feeling. I'm like, you know what? I don't want to do that. It's all
No.
playing out the way it should. And you know, and they'll figure it out soon enough. And really, a lot of it, I think, is as hostile as it seems. A lot of this is part of their clearing too. You know.
Hmm. Hmm. I mean, we're here to elevate people, not to put people down. You know, like people have been through enough shit, and if someone acts like an asshole and tries to, you know, attack you online or, you know, gets angry at you, whatever, it's kind of like, okay, obviously you've touched something that they need to bring to the surface. So that's a good thing. I used to get defensive and I used to get upset about it, and it's like, what, you know, but now I understand that, you know, maybe, you know, I struck a chord in someone's only going to get angry and lash out if, you know,
You
if
did if
there's
they
still
were
something
comfort,
there that
yeah,
they have to work on,
yeah. If
right?
they were, and plus, yeah, because if they were all completely comfortable innerly with what they felt, even if it was totally the opposite of what you thought, it would never invoke that emotion in them. I mean, you
Mm-mm.
know what I
and
mean?
and
Yeah.
it's not always about, you know, making people comfortable. I mean, you know,
Well,
it's
no, not at all. But you know, yeah,
sharing sharing our truths. You know, like I said about like the chemtrails or, you know, the news all being, it's all lies, mom, it's all lies, right? She'd get pissed off at me. She'd like, show shut up, and you think you know everything, and I'm like,
I know I've heard
no,
that before too.
no,
That total
yeah,
frustration because it's like, yeah,
but
you know, yeah, yeah. Well, no, I'm not trying to say I know everything. It's just
mm,
unfortunately, I see through it.
yeah. Yeah, yeah, and you know you're going to get some backlash from people that are still holding, you know, because they don't want that information. They don't want that information. That information, that's, you know, I mean, that's not safe to them. It's not familiar. It's not safe, right? So they don't want it.
Hmm.
So they get angry. So you just got to kind of like, you know, I respect that, and I
You,
try to I
you
try
know,
to
it's
be.
hard for me and probably you too because I've never, you know, I was born not even at that stage where I would not want, you know, the truth to be told. I've always wanted the truth to be, you know, in my
Mhm.
mind to know at any cost. There was
Yeah.
nothing I didn't, you know, and so it's been a process for me to learn to understand how to understand them because I don't understand that mentality at all. I mean, I can relate to them and feel because of where they're coming from now, and that's great. But I can't. you could tell them to me, but I don't, I've never been in that, and I've in this incarnation, I've never been in that position.
Mhm.
Even at 2, 3 years old. But it's a process of learning for us to understand why everybody's coming from where they are.
Mhm. Yeah, and like we were talking with with the earth, I mean, with everything, it really quickening, and picking up. Like I know, a couple days ago, 2 days ago, I was just feeling just kind of sad and just kind of lost and just kind of blah. And I'm
Me
thinking,
too. Me too.
yeah, and I'm thinking, okay, what's going on? Because usually I'm happy and smiling, or just pretty blissful most of the time. And I understand. I mean, sometimes you get down, sometimes you get whatever. You just, that's just the way it is. But yeah, 2 days ago it was like I feel like I should be doing something, and I feel kind of lost, and I feel alone. And
Well, if I knew that, I would have. You should have called me, and I would have sang to you. You know what, Raquel? When you're up, and when you're down, and when you're only halfway up, you're neither up nor down.
oh my God, that's
Yeah,
so profound. Thank
yeah,
you.
you're welcome.
But and there's and I'm it's not it's the earth changes as well, because we're so in tuned now and so sensitive and so connected to the earth, that when she all this shifting and releasing she's doing, we are all right in sync as well.
Yeah, I feel my
um
jaw click along with it, and it shift, or my head, or
yeah.
yeah. And you were talking a little bit
but
about that too, and I'm like, yeah, wow.
but there's also there's also the loneliness and the alienation that one can often feel when you're not when you're at a different consciousness level than most people around you or in the society around you. um, and I think that was part of it. 2 days ago I was just kind of sitting in my backyard, and I'm thinking, like, I have no friends, like I have Janice, and I have, people like these wonderful people, you guys online, but you're so far away. So, I mean, I have area, I know. So then I start thinking, well, I have so many things to be grateful for, and I have, a beautiful life now compared to my life before. Like, wow, it's a dream, really. But I think it's also, I'm feeling the need now to to do more. I should be doing something more. And the past 2 years have been so extremely physical for me. It's taken up everything. It's been full-time work. But I feel that it's time for me to connect in my community. So I'm going to look into, and ever since we brought Ariel home, I've wanted to do the volunteer thing with her, with maybe one of the senior homes out here, hospitals and stuff like that. So I'm going to start there, and maybe the community, some kind of gardening, or just really getting
Mhm.
out there. And although I cannot relate to a lot of people, socially, I can get
But
out
you can
there
be
and
you, and stand in your confidence, and offer what you feel like you can offer, and just give that to the world, and
yeah,
yeah,
like my heart, right? I can offer,
exactly.
people I can just, go out there from my heart, because, in my heart, we're all the same. We're all the same. But there's, I just find it really, like, I just can't go
No,
out and socialize or talk about, fashion or entertainment or,
it's rough and rougher. It's not even a
yeah,
matter of that you don't want to. It's just that you can't vibe with it at all. It's like,
no,
trying to eat
no,
meat for us. It's like eating
yeah.
plastic. But when I was feeling somber like that the other day, though, Raquel, check it out. I had this thought for a second that and I was really in the deep thought. And I was thinking that maybe a little bit of this was, as crazy as it sounds, as we're headed forward. And even though it's a good thing, missing, kind of missing a little bit of the paradigm. And I thought that for a minute, and then I virtually slapped myself, and I said, Wigga, you crazy? No way. But it's Yeah, I feel like, and these changes that happen, like, you're feeling the need to do those things. The process had to play itself out, and the process never ends. It's still ongoing, but
Mhm.
it's not really something, like you said, it doesn't really work out too good for us and, most humans anymore to really rigidly work it out and get so caught up in the scheduling of it that you're not even thinking about the actual act of it.
Mhm.
You know what I mean, the
Yeah.
boundaries around it and shit.
Yeah. But then I was also thinking too, and this is what I thought for a while, is that like I'm kind of like I just feel and kind of at the point where because the way things happen for me, I'm really trying to figure out my place and how I can be of service and help others through my direct experience. And I know that there's people out there that have really worked at, getting off drugs, that have really consciously worked on losing weight, that have really consciously worked on curing themselves of diseases, that have really, I didn't consciously do that stuff. It was just, it was something that happened, and it was just all me getting out of the way and allowing the process to happen. So that in itself, to me, is, it's not easy. And like I was saying, I mean, obviously I've worked because I've had to go through a lot, and I go through it physically and stuff. But the way, it was so sudden and it was so extreme, and it happened in such a weird way that I'm kind of in trying to figure out how can I be of service and how can
Yeah.
I help others, because I can't really tell. And people will message me, how did you do it? Like, how did you do? And
Hmm.
I can't tell them. I really can't. It happened, right? I can't tell them exactly how I did it. So I think that's kind of, um, yeah, that I'm kind of in limbo with that
Well,
because,
yeah, especially something that huge. I mean, having a terrible, IV heroin addiction and other things like that just go away right away. You know what I mean? It's
Mhm.
so amazing that in the hell that you didn't have to go through, and I think you were talking about that with me on the phone before that you at least acknowledge now that, yeah, I mean, there was a lot of hell I didn't have to go through to get off it, and I'm kind of glad.
Mhm.
So that's really, that's all you can do. And really, you do, by acknowledging that, you really do understand. It's just that in this
Mhm.
incarnation, you can't, you know, understand
Well,
fully.
I did experience a very, very abrupt Kundalini awakening. I didn't know what the hell was happening to me. And I was talking to my friend Jack, and I've talked to a few other people about this. And when your Kundalini abruptly awakes, like I'm talking just bang, just takes over you, um, you don't. I mean, it's harsh, and I think like there are probably so many people in psych wards and so many people that like me at the beginning, I had no idea what the hell was happening to me. I really didn't know what was happening to me. It was, for me, I had to just, what, I had to surrender, and I just had to be okay with the not knowing. And but I really, it concerns me and it saddens me to think that there are probably, and with the energy getting more and more intense, there are probably people out there that are experiencing these rapid awakenings, and they don't know, they're losing their minds. They probably end up
Yeah.
in psych wards or
Well,
OD home, like.
yeah, the good news, imagine how it would have been to awaken, like, fuck, say 20 years ago, 30 years ago. I mean, imagine then. That would have really been hell. And yes, it is still going on here. And, and depends on where you're. I think that, not to pick on a certain region of the United States, but if you were going through this, in the South, you'd have to really be concerned that, your family, might not overreact a little bit because
Mhm.
of certain religious values that are still,
Mhm.
ingrained in people down there. And that's not a good or bad thing, but it just is. And you're right. How many people are then, talked in by their family? They'll get checked out and fuck,
Mhm.
it's scary. Raquel,
Yeah.
isn't it scary to think about being in a situation like that where everybody around you's telling you that and pushing you that way, and
Mhm.
there's nobody, and you're in a very closed off part of the consciousness wise region or somewhere of a country? It's scary. I mean, there isn't too much more that scares me than that. A handful of things, probably, if I thought about it. And that, I've thought about that a lot, and it's really frightening.
Well, I know what it's like to be in the psych ward and be medicated against my will. Um, I've been there, and that was before my abrupt awakening. But I mean, I know what it's like, and to have your rights taken away from you and to be forcibly medicated, it's awful. I mean,
Yeah, and what would trip me out about it too is right. That's bad enough, but your whole family telling you it's the good, and you can't convince them that no, you're not crazy. I mean, yeah, I really, my heart goes and prayers go out to anybody that
but
might be in a situation like that.
the good thing about it, like I don't want to, keep the, I don't want to be, these
No,
negative
I
vibes
don't
here.
either. At
But
least
the
it's
good
going
thing
on
about
now
it,
and not, I mean, yeah, this is to be the time to have it happen if you were going to have to go through it because
yeah,
it's not, yeah, believe
and
me.
because also we are all, so connected, and social media has brought us all together. So it's so amazing to have such a large group of people, like hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people,
I was just
and
thinking about that too
you
two
can
nights
be,
ago. Yeah, exactly. I
yeah,
mean, as
you
much as
can
we bitch
be.
about the net, look at how great it is. We've all came together. None of us would know each other.
Mm-hmm. You can be experiencing something or whatever, and then the next day you'll see two or three people post about it, and it's like, ah, okay, yes, them too, right? And then
Par
that
for the
just goes,
course anymore. Yeah, it's funny.
yeah, so that just goes back to how important it is to just, to just know that we're not alone, that other people, we're all going through this, and like I said before, we don't need someone to tell us what to do. Fuck, we've been told what to do our entire lives, and most of us rebelled and never listened anyway. So why should we start now,
You
right?
are your own guru, G. You are you.
Yeah,
Who would have thunk it?
yeah. Yeah, so yeah, I think just keep, and like I said too, like I started a page, and I just felt guided to start a page. I'd had some people message me, also, asking, and I like to start sharing my experiences, but it just seems that I log on, and there's so much information, and there's so much also, out there. I don't want to just, don't want to overload people. I find it's just information overload for a lot of people. And so really what I'm doing right now is, just keeping the positive, sending the positive and the, love out there, sending the positive vibes out there. And, I think that's really the most important thing we can do right now is just, work on ourselves and just keep that love vibe going and
Keep this
keep
love
open to
vibration
try.
train rolling. Keep this
Yeah,
cosmic love funk
yeah.
vibration rolling, girl, through the universe. And on that note, um, if is there anything else you'd like to touch on real quick? And if not, or if so, afterward, do go ahead and just talk a little bit about that page you created. Not talk a little bit, tell people where they can find it and anything else you might want people to know. But yeah, go ahead and hit on if there's anything else that you wanted to kind of tell the star peeps out there.
We talked about so much on the phone.
I'm gonna
And
start taping. I'm gonna start taping our damn conversations, girl. I'm
yeah,
telling you,
no doubt. I think we covered more on that phone call that we did here.
oh,
Um,
I'd say so,
I don't know. I think just,
but
you
only
know,
my innate remembers. I in 3D don't remember it all.
I don't even remember doing this show, and we're not even finished yet.
I know, no shit. I'm about there too.
No, I think, just keep in mind that people don't always need advice or be told what to do. I think that it's most important that people just know that that they're not alone, right? Like we're all in this together. We may be experiencing different things, but we're all in this together. And yeah, people don't need advice, and nobody else can save you but yourself, right?
You are
Totally.
your own antenna. You are your own vibrational frequency
It's
pulse.
a solitary process, and it's a it's a solitary, it's a journey within. But
Here, here.
just be there for other people, and just just love them and accept them, and yeah. So
That was really refreshing how you said all that. I mean, I really felt that, and it was so the most uncliched I'd ever heard it said in the million times. But no, really, it's totally true. And I guess it's really about feeling the vibration, and exactly, Raquel. And I know that coming from you, that is truly how you feel. And it's always an honor, of course, to be on there with you and exchange ideas and talk with you. So you want to go ahead, and I'm going to make you go ahead and plug that. I'm going to make you plug that page of yours a little bit. Talk about.
Yeah, I still, it's a learning process. I'm still not really quite sure where I'm taking it or where it's going, but I called it Ascension Essentials, and I just figured I'd just, just upliftment, just put positive stuff out there. Maybe some things that have helped me as far as crystals, some tips on crystals, and tips on essential oils and natural things. I think that's kind of the way I'm going to go.
Good
As
name. It's
far
got a familiar ring to it. Good name. Yeah.
oh, like Bridget Rose, Divine Essentials. Yeah, I didn't realize that till afterwards. But then I had a few people share one of my posts, and there was some kind of health essentials and some kind of spiritual or whatever. But there was like 4 different essentials. It's kind of like, okay, well,
That's,
we're all in the same,
we're all essential. Hey, we're all
yeah, yeah, it's cool.
perfect. It
Yeah,
is.
and
It's
then
cooler
I'm
than the other
also
side of the pillow. It's cooler than the other side of the pillow, but yeah, go ahead.
oh yeah, I need to wash my pillowcase. My mom's gone away for 10 days. Who's gonna do my wash?
Oh, gosh.
I'm just joking. I'll figure it out. I know how to use the washer, I think.
Hi,
Um,
Mom. We hope you're having fun in Kamloops.
yeah, I'm sure she is. It's
Good, good.
probably a lot hotter up there too. It's been hot here. Anyway, I'm rambling. So I'm at
Work.
Some of One too, the Facebook group, and I'm at Canadian Palladian and the Fringe Thinkers, Pacific Northwest Palladians,
Beautiful.
Arcturian Love and Wisdom, and I think, oh, and yeah, I think that's about it. Mind you, you would probably know better than me because you've added me to all these bloody groups. So
Well, that was articulated better than I could have put it. But yeah, there may be, I can't confirm it. There may be a few others you're in. But
yeah,
but it's all good. We're all in the same group. But that's awesome. So everybody, I'll go ahead and I'm going to do one thing that I'm going to include in this show. I'm going to include a link to Raquel's new page, so everybody should stop and check it out and give it a look over. And as far as me, you can find me, Rocken Larry Locken, at all the groups that Raquel mentioned. You can also find, this is the best way I tell people to do it as far as Facebook goes. You can go to a page, not a group, but a page called Pleiadian Groups and Pages, and that'll show all the regional groups we've created, all the Arcturian Pleiadian groups. It'll also include all our pages and include the 2 YouTube channels. Actually, we got 4 YouTube channels, but we really only use 2 of them a lot, which is Pleiadian Light Grid Project, which is kind of the smaller one that we do some kind of humorous things on. Plus, I use it for my channelings and other shows to kind of test ideas out on. But the Pleiadian Express Productions is the mothership channel. You can also find us at larrylocken.wix.com/Pleiadian Express Pro. That's larrylocken.wix.com/Pleiadian Express Pro. And of course, donations are always very, very well accepted. There's a donation button on there at the bottom of the homepage if you like it and like what we do. And other than that, I think that about covers it. And for the staff here at Pleiadian Express Productions, we're Ravishing Raquel Toombs, all the way 9 hours straight up the coast from me in beautiful Vancouver, BC, or a suburb thereof. We're gonna wish you a big cosmic dating game kiss, and of course a namaste. Mwah.